Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. And I don't have to tell you the date because it's up over here, up there somewhere. um, let's see, so it's 9 a.m. I was, uh, I guess we lost internet for about, and we have Verizon. This is the box right here that I'm touching. We have Verizon, and on this site, I haven't got, you know, hundreds, or I haven't got a lot, but all the comments I have got is about how wonderful the Verizon internet service is, the wireless internet service. And I've had problems with them. And so we lost, we're plugged in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Always one of us here for sure, probably using the internet, or Darlene's watching, Netflix or something, The Price is Right or something. So I'm surprised. I'm not sure what time the internet went out on us, and there was no reason for it to. But I was woke up around about, I think, 4 a.m. There's no internet. And I looked at the box over here. It had the lights, I mean, it's not lights like you have on a modem or something that's flashing or whatever. It's, solid how much strength you've got. And you can have 1 to 3 bars. 1 bar, they say, is fine. We have 2, sometimes 3. Uh, but so then anyway, like I said, everybody that has, which is not, I've got 4,500 subscribers, and not all of them leave comments. Very few of them, in fact. But the ones that have left, the ones that leave messages about Verizon, they like it, no problems. Okay, so I woke up. I checked everything, no internet service. So then I made the phone call. God help me. I mentioned in previous videos, it wasn't any better this time. I connected using my cell phone, which uses Mint service. I'm not sure if it would have made any difference if I was using for my cell phone service, if I was using Verizon. Because I got connected, repeatedly with the non-human connection. And there for a while, sometimes I didn't know that I had, just a robot that was, going through this crap. And it's crap that that it goes through. What was it? Anyway, crap. And for a long time. And I went from, robot to robot. Then then I tried, logging in, well, with my cell phone, which uses Met service. And of course, when I'm going into my account, I have a Verizon account when I go in. And, I mean, it's just total crap. Finally, after a couple hours, I called in to their number on my cell phone, which is not using, Verizon is using Mint. And their setup seems to be set up like, well, it's crap. So finally I called in and I connected with a human being finally. At first there was getting, a little bit of going to the robot, well, you need to do this, No. You need to disconnect your Wi-Fi. On my cell phone, I need to disconnect the Wi-Fi. So finally I connected with a human being, and really quick, she said, well, unplug your, modem. She said, well, she tested it. Oh, no, it's fine, And then she said, well, unplug it. So I unplugged it. And then I told her, it boots up really fast, And then it was like, well, it's taking quite a while. And she said, well, she said she pushed the thing there. And then finally it connected, and we have internet back. Oh, but so there again, I mentioned in the past, don't deal with their, their bots or their non-human, things. Get talking to them, and just everything about their service. This. And when we get our device, when you get your device, they have this thing in here, and it has. I'm not sure what they even call it. Let's see. Yeah, mobile number, and then there's the number. Well, I don't have mobile service with them. This is just it's a number, it's what they would love for you to have. It's, these boxes come with a number assigned to them, which is a number that can be activated to, but, so my advice, if you have Verizon, just get a human being, talk to a human being. And you're going to be thinking that you're talking to a human being when you're not. It's pretty easy to figure out, though, when they ask you to do the same things, or when they ask you to do stupid things, It is horrible. Now, I'm happy with the speed. I'm happy with what I pay. I'm happy with the speed. I'm happy with what I pay. And I don't know what the solution is. I'm sure they have millions and millions and millions of customers. And sure, they want to send them to these things that are, easy. But it's not easy. So, Lordy help us. Anyway, the internet's back. So my suggestion is, yes, Verizon service, because when I've got my box, I've actually hooked up 2 times, but that's a long story. It's in some of the videos in the past I talk about it. But anyway, when you get your thing and you hook it up, you plug it in or whatever, both times that I did it, I was connected within 15 minutes, and that was taking my time. Just plug it in, and that's it. You're in business. But if you have to deal with them, try to deal with a human being. I'm not sure, and I guess some people could answer that. Probably a bunch of these people that have left a message saying they are wonderful. Maybe they do have cell phone service with them also. And I don't know if that would help any. But, so that's that. I'm tired because I went to bed late. I went to bed at 2 a.m. Woke up at 4 a.m. And so anyway, took care of this problem. That was 4 a.m. to I think about 7 a.m. Then we had internet. So then I went to the bakery. It's a couple blocks from here. I got a bunch of pastries. $14. No, can't remember now. $14 or $17 worth. Can't remember now. Of donuts. And I've eaten, well, not just donuts. I've eaten 3 big ones. Maybe more. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see which camera is on. Yeah, okay, those are the 2 left that I have. I don't know what they're called because they got a Spanish name. That should be against the law. But when I was in Cuba, I thought I was in Cuba. When I was in Miami, the donut shops there, I thought they'd be like Dunkin' Donuts, where I'm, from the in the civilized world. I thought they'd be like Dunkin' Donuts or someplace like that. And no, when I would go into them in Miami at various locations, I'd go in and nobody spoke English. I think they had a token, somebody who come, but he or she probably came late, Sort of had, like, I don't need to get in there. They only pay me such and such, so. But anyway, same with McDonald's and places like that. I would go in. I finally realized, okay, don't go in when they open. Wait a while for the person who speaks English to show up. But there weren't any donuts, and I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and then spent some time because I was a baby out in California, 4 years or so. Anyway, Kansas City, Missouri, we're famous for barbecue. Kansas City, Missouri really is like the barbecue place, although there are barbecues kind of done differently. So in some areas they, go this way, go this way, that way. But anyway, Kansas City, Missouri, known, I think, around the world for barbecue. I don't think they're known for donuts, but there was I don't know if it's still there or not, Lamar's Donuts in Kansas City, Missouri. And everybody said they had great donuts. Everybody in Kansas City. And one hospital that I worked at was very near to Lamar Donuts, so I'd make a bunch of runs over there from Trinity Lutheran Hospital and pick up donuts for the parking lot attendants and security officers. And they had good donuts. Years later, many years later, on the Tonight Show, whoever the host was then had the guy who owned Lamar's Donuts. He said, that was his thing. I mean, he wasn't a dancer, an entertainer. He, wasn't an astronaut or anything like that. And he didn't do a comedy routine. He appeared there, and whoever the host was, he was introduced as the guy who, owned Lamar's Donuts in Kansas City, Missouri, where they had the best donuts that there were. The director of security at Trinity, I've talked about him a whole bunch in previous videos. The director of security, now deceased, and I did not kill him. I actually liked him, even though he was who he was. But like it was wintertime, and I was a supervisor, security supervisor. I mean, when I hired in, I wasn't, but then I was eventually. Um, so I took the Jeep. It was a snowstorm, you know. I took the Jeep over, of course, our vehicle, to the Mars Donuts and pulled into the snowdrift and everything. Went in, got the donuts, came out. And we had no four-wheel drive. The other shifts, two of them, had not reported that the four-wheel drive was not working. So anyway, there was a shovel in the back, and I shoveled it out, and then I drove back. And when I got back, I told the director of security, I said, the four-wheel drive's not working on our vehicle. You need to have that checked. I said, I went to pick up some donuts, Mars Donuts for the guys, and he, Jim, you're so funny, you're so funny. I said, I'm not kidding. I went over and picked up donuts. It was a snowdrift. I had to dig myself out. Oh, Jim, your sense of humor in them. I said, never mind. And then, too, there was several times, like, he sent me on some errand, like, the board of directors was meeting, the hospital board of directors or something was meeting, and I had to drive downtown to the law offices of the corporation that, you know, and it was like, you know, when I went over to pick up these documents that I had to hand deliver out in Overland Park, Kansas, where the people that had money lived. I didn't live there, of course. But, so anyway, you know, I drove down there. Several times I went down, had to go down to the law offices. You know, you take, it's like what you see in the, depending on where you live, you know. Anyway, I drove downtown, took the elevator up and got off, and I thought, okay, wait a minute. I think somehow I've been transported to, you know, the palace in London for the Queen or something. I mean, it was, you know. Now, I didn't see any golden toilets like Donald Trump has in the place where he lives. You know, I didn't see any golden toilets or anything like that, but I thought, God damn, you know. So they gave me the so I delivered it, the things to the people, the board of directors, you know, their homes. And when I came back, and I told the director of security, okay, I got them all delivered. He said, okay, thanks, Jim. I'm not sure if he said, it took you a little while, and I said, well, I had to stop at a couple computer stores and see what was going on in the computer world. Oh, Jim, you're so funny. Oh, you're so funny. Oh, yeah, you know. Of course, he wasn't being, you know, he was being kind of sarcastic, you know. But I wasn't being funny. I was telling him the truth, but he didn't believe me, you know. Of course, one time there was a fire at the hospital. I told you about that several times in previous things. The hospital was on fire. And because he was the way he was, you know, he had an office on the 6th floor. And the director of volunteers, which is an important job because the director of the volunteers is a volunteer, and all these gray-haired ladies and white-haired ladies, and those people would donate a day or two, a month or whatever, and come in and do stuff. That saves hospitals, and if they use them someplace, you know, else, you know, saves tons of money. And the director of security, he knew that because he spent his entire time trying to suck up to administration or whatever instead of, anyway. So he's on the 6th floor. Now, of course, we had a security office on the 6th floor. And he had another office for his secretary and the lieutenant or whatever on the 6th floor. But the director of volunteers, she called from the 3rd floor where there was an entrance and a gift shop, you know, an entrance from the 3rd floor. There was an entrance to the hospital from the 1st floor. But anyway, so she called and said, you know. Mr. Ross, I smell smoke. And so, okay, now he's the director of security. And he has me, and he has other security officers, you know, and he has parking lot attendants. And so does he call on the walkie-talkies that we have, you know, to inform us of what may be going on or could be or whatever? No, he wants to go down and impress the director of volunteers, you know. So he goes down and third floor. So he's on the third floor. Meantime, I'm on the second floor making my rounds, and there are other security officers there making my rounds on the second floor. And I smell smoke, and then I see a guy from plant operations, one of the maintenance guys, come in. I said, I smell smoke, and he says, I do too. And I unlocked the door on this side, and he unlocked the door on the other side, and on the other side was a telephone, a small area, but it was a telephone equipment room. You know, the alarms and all kinds of things went into the, you know, to the relays and all that kind of stuff. Smoke came out. And so I did. Well, let me tell you, again. So I immediately take my radio and emergency Dr. Red, telephone equipment room, second floor. Emergency Dr. Red, telephone equipment room, second floor. And then the operator immediately pages Dr. Red, you know, emergency Dr. Red, you know, with the location, emergency Dr. Red, location, emergency Dr. Red. And she's also doing, but then of course the fire alarm is already, well, then I, of course, as soon as I immediately pull the fire alarm thing, because that shuts down, one, that also rings into the switchboard and to the fire department, that there is a fire and where it's located. And it shuts down the fire. All the doors close, you know, to stop smoke and fire from spreading. And so then now as a security officer, and especially as a supervisor, and especially as like the fire warden or whatever, I was in charge of the testing the fire alarm systems and all kinds of shit. So I knew what units would be coming, what fire units would be coming to where on the hospital. You know, on the ground level, the third floor level, or whatever level. I knew what would be coming. You know, whether it was a pumper, you know, hook and ladder, and I knew what would be coming and about when they would be coming. In fact, when I was outside and we had a fire or something, you know, I could hear the fire trucks coming from a few blocks away or whatever. So then well, the director of security, that was it. Yeah, he called me, you know, right on the radio. Jim, no, the fire is here on the third floor outside the gift shop at the, I forget what you call it, you know, the thing where they have the flowers in it. The engine, the motor on it is burning. It's underneath, you know. And I said, no, Mr. Ross, the fire's on the second floor, you know, blah, 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 blah. No, Jim, it's here on the third floor, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know, I went through the whole thing, you know. Heavy smoke, fire showing, plant operations guys using a fire extinguisher on it at this time. Then I called. You know, he did the same thing. No, it's on, you know. So I called on the radio to the parking. Well, I called on the radio. Okay, does anybody have the fire? Oh, Mr. Ross said he stopped the fire department up there. Now I wonder what they thought. You know, they're hearing his radio, and they're, you know, so I wonder what they thought. And so then I called. Does anybody outside have fire department units with them? And then one of the parking lot attendants called, Jim, you know, I got the fire department out here. And then I said, bring them through the receiving dock area, come over. It's next to the intensive care unit. It's a telephone equipment room. It's next to the intensive care unit. And so then he brought him over. So, How did I get on that subject? I do not know. Sam, I am. Okay, I told that story again. Of course, there's a whole bunch of videos on here, so you probably didn't, because a lot of you are new and then move on, you know. When all this guy does is talk about donuts, or all this guy does is, I had actually years and years ago, before there was a YouTube or whatever, when I was streaming videos and stuff. I had people say, all he talks about is his job and filing grievances against his boss. All he talks about is his divorce from his wife. All he talks about, you know, no, it's whatever's going on, you know. Today it's shoes, which I hope fit me. I've been through that, so I won't go through that again. Anyway, they're coming today. I hope they fit me. I got a feeling my feet are swollen. My legs are swollen. Big time. Actually, the swelling in the feet has gone down considerably because I lost a lot of weight. But I'm hoping that these fit, because the ones I have now are, I showed them to you in a video a little bit. I held them up, but I don't think you could tell. I should have put a tape measure next to them or something. Anyway, here are some pictures that I've taken over some period of time. And so what I need to do, ooh, that's the first PBS. There you go, whoop, gone. Anyway, I need to organize these, so, because these are just going to run, a few of them are going to run here. But what I need to do is organize them so I could, you know, show something. There it is again. Oh my God. That was a Radio Shack Model 1. Started with 4K of memory, and I got it upgraded to 48K of memory. 48K. Not 48 megs, not 48 terabytes. I thought, who could ever need more than 48K of, you know, memory on a computer? And it's just like when I had a 300, when a 300 baud modem came out, and then so, you know, I was back in 1982 or whatever, and then the 12, I just bought a 300 baud, and I forget what it cost, a lot of money. And then a 1200 came out, and then some people said, Jim, you should get a 1200. And I answered him back. I said, but 300 baud is reading speed, you know. Of course, I had to turn around and buy one, and then it was 2400, and on we go, right? Anyway, looks like this is going to be a 30-minute video, because I need to do a bunch of stuff. I hope these shoes fit. It's actually the ones that I've had to purchase, which were, I forget what are like clown shoes and dangerous, very dangerous for me to walk with those others that I'm using now. So I hope today is going to be the last day that I wear the clown shoes. I got a feeling though, probably not. Because, you know, both feet are swollen. One is swollen, you know, a lot worse than the other one. I got a feeling maybe that, you know, I can get into one foot into my right foot into the size 11, but I'm not sure about the left foot. Maybe I should just hop, 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 hop. Jim the YouTuber who hops everywhere that he goes. So anyway, thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Please click the flag that tells you, you know, that sends you a thing when I post or something. You can make a donation below. You can subscribe. You can to use the links below to go someplace here. Any way to help out. Thank you very much for watching.